It is day 53 of our 90 days of Psalms and 90 hours of tongues. And today's topic is demonic resistance. Today, the Lord reminded us that it is imperative that we discern what is and what is not demonic resistance. Oftentimes, we give the enemy credit for things he had absolutely nothing to do with. And so today, the Lord made it clear to us that there were three categories that he wanted us to focus in on. One of which is, of course, when we are actually being resisted. When we are being resisted, we have to remember that what we are doing, if it is in direct opposition of the enemy's plan to derail the move of God, to hinder the advancement of God's kingdom, these are all premises where the enemy is going to contend against us. He is absolutely going to try to frustrate the plans of God in our lives and through our lives. And then there are those instances where we usher ourselves into demonic resistance. We sometimes can be overzealous. We read a book, we took a class, and now we think that we are battle tested, battle ready, and we end up being plundered. And so that demonic resistance is a lot of the times because you've entered into a realm of the spirit that you did not have authority in, you did not have governance in. And so what happened was you got attacked because of your illegal infiltration of that realm of the spirit, being ahead of your time or being called into a place of warfare. Sometimes this occurs when we just pray for people thinking that we have the authority to do so. And I know that the scripture tells us to pray without ceasing. However, there are scriptures where we have to be reminded that our weapons of warfare are not carnal, and what we are up against are not flesh and blood. So we have to be discerning, we have to be smart, we have to be intelligent, we have to have the wisdom of God to know that God has given us permission to deal with the devils in some people's lives. And then there are those instances where we are just dealing with the occurrences of the natural man. We think that sometimes the enemy is always causing us to be tired, causing us to be frustrated, causing us to be overwhelmed. But I would like to submit to us that sometimes it's because of our own disobedience. And sometimes it's just because of the occurrences that the natural man will encounter in this flesh. So it's important that we don't just slap the devil's title on all of it and assume that he is the reason. There are those things that we know God will use him as an instrument for, but there are also those instances where we usher ourselves into demonic resistance, as well as we may be being resisted by our flesh. And it is absolutely nothing that the enemy is employing. So that was day 53. Tomorrow we are continuing to scale this mountain with God in day 54. And I look forward to sharing that with you in tomorrow's video.